Welcome to a new Alfresco video. We are talking today about the Alfresco Ubuntu installer project. This project is available in github.com in my personal account with the name Alfresco Ubuntu installer, and this will let you to install Alfresco in Ubuntu using Alfresco zip distribution files. So remember that you can install Alfresco by different ways using these zip distribution files and manually configuring and installing Alfresco on your server by using Ansible to create an automation on this installation, or by using containers, that is the recommended approach, using Docker Compose or Helm. But in this case, we are focusing on the installation of the Alfresco by using these zip distribution files. Before that, what we are going to install is Postgres, Java, Tomcat, and ActiveMQ. That are some out-of-the-box dependencies for Alfresco. And we are performing this installation by using some helping scripts that we are going to explain later. After that, we are going to download the zip distribution files from the Alfresco Maven repository that is available in nexus.alfresco.com. Then we are going to apply this installation to Tomcat. After that, we are going to install Solr, that is the one that is used as search platform for indexing and searching both metadata and content. The transform service installation, that is the one that is required for document transformations in Alfresco, and the Alfresco content app building, that is a step that can be performed in a separate server or machine, as this one is just building the static files, the static website for the Node.js application that is like the new UI of Alfresco. We are going to create engines to serve this Alfresco content app application and also Alfresco and Ser web applications. And finally, we are going to start all the different services. So let's go with the installation. And for that, in my case, I have Ubuntu running on this AWS EC2 instance, but you may have Ubuntu running in some other way. And what we have is this Ubuntu user that is going to be used as the running user for all the Alfresco services. Again, you can just tailor that to your requirements. So the first one is just to clone these scripts so we can start working. So let's clone the project. So now we have the Alfresco Ubuntu installer, and I just want the scripts. So I'm going to remove that, and I have the scripts available. So let's check that we have all the scripts available. And the first step is to install the database. So for the database, I'm going to use PostgreSQL, that is default database. And we are going to install Postgres. We are going also to change the configuration, the pghba.conf file, in order to allow Postgres to connect from the local machine, and also just to allow the Alfresco user to connect by using password. After that, we are going to create the user Alfresco with the database Alfresco, and granting all the privileges to this user for the database. After that, we are enabling the PostgreSQL service, and that's also with that we have the database up and ready. So for that, we can run the first script, that is again installing the Postgres database. Once the database is installed with the user, the database, and all the permissions, let's move to the next step. So the next will be installing Java. So by default, we need Java 17. So this simple script will install Java in Ubuntu. So again, let's move to the Java installation. So now we have Java 17 available on the Ubuntu server, and let's install Tomcat. In order to install Tomcat, we are using Tomcat 10, we are just downloading Tomcat and unzipping that and creating also the service for this. This is a special option we are adding in order to create the initial configuration for the encryption metadata that we are using for this. This is not related to TLS. It's just for the initial encryption of the database. So we just need to add this. That will be the key store that we are using for this kind of operation, and all these other kind of environment variables in the Java tool options. And the other is more or less standard. So we are installing Tomcat and enabling Tomcat. So let's move into this task. Okay, so this one should be like the third one, and let's wait till Tomcat is up and ready. Okay, with that, Tomcat is enabled, and we have also the service that will apply this specific configuration for the metadata key store. Let's move to the next step. That will be the installation of ActiveMQ. So we are using ActiveMQ 5.18, and we are just downloading that and unzipping the installation and creating again service to control the start and the stop operations for the service. So let's move to this again. This is the next step. So let's install ActiveMQ. Remember that ActiveMQ is the one that is providing messages, is the messaging platform for Alfresco and for the community version. And we are installing Community 23.02 with this sample. It's only used for the out of process SDK, right? So this is the only use we have for that, but let's install that just to have the complete installation of Alfresco. Let's move to the next one. The next one is just downloading all the resources, all the zip distribution files that we need to install Alfresco. So the first one is the Alfresco Content Service Community Distribution. This zip contains all the configuration for Tomcat related to the Alfresco and Solr web application with all the configuration files that we are going to apply later. Then we have this Alfresco search services that is the search engine. So this is a wrapping of Solr. So this will install Solr on Yeti on our local machine. And finally, we have the transport service, this Alfresco Transport Core AIO, that is a Spring Boot application that can be started by standalone. So we just need to download these files so we can then apply the configuration. So again, on the command line, let's execute this one. Now this is the right one. So just let's wait till all the files are downloaded locally. Now that we have the files downloaded, so we have all the different files we need, let's proceed with the Alfresco installation. So on the next one, we have the Alfresco installation. So we need the unzip command just for unzip these zip files. And then we create some specific set of folders for set configuration. So we create that. Remember that we are using Ubuntu user, but you can choose whatever you need. Then we are modifying the Catalina properties file, this Tomcat configuration file, in order to load all the resources that we are going to add to these set folders. Then we unzip the Alfresco service community distribution. As we are using PostgreSQL, we are copying the JDBC driver to this set folder. We are also just creating the jar add-ons deployment folders for Alfresco and also for Solr. And we are copying this configuration, these XML files, both Alfresco XML and Solr XML files, to the configuration of Tomcat. Then we are copying this web apps folder that includes Alfresco war, Solr war, and another additional wars we need to the deployment folder in Tomcat. We are copying also additional Solr resources And we are also copying the key store. Remember that we are using this key store by default only for metadata. And again, this is not related to the MTLS configuration. Finally, we are going to create the Alfresco global properties with the starting file system that will be alpha data in our case. With the key store, we already copied on this step for the metadata for the encryption. Then we are defining the connection to the database. We are defining the connection to Solr. We are using the secret mode. If you want to use MTLS, then you need to change these properties and also to change the deployment of Alfresco in Solr. We are also setting the URL of the transform service. Let me go back again to the actual size. And what else? So we have also the messaging broker. So the ActiveMQ connection that in this case will be allocated in this port. And finally, we have also this for external references. As we are running that as localhost, we are using this. Finally, we are going to apply AMPs. So especially we need to apply this AMP that is on the distribution file. So this AMP is required. We are also copy the this Alfresco MMT jar that is the one that is applying the amps, and we are going to do exactly the same thing with Solr. After that, we are just setting the file to create the Alfresco log and the Solr log files, so we can control like everything inside this Tomcat logs folder, and that's all, right? So let's move again to the command line so we can apply this configuration for Alfresco. So let's install Alfresco with all the different operations. Okay, so now we have Tomcat configured to deploy Alfresco and to deploy Solr with the right configuration applied and with the right amps and so on and applications. Remember that we have a local Tomcat folder, and we can move to the next step, that is the installation of Solr. For the installation of Solr, we just need to unzip the Alfresco Search Services zip distribution file, and then we create Solr service with just a very easy exec start, just starting with the defaults Alfresco and archive. This will create both indexes in Solr and with the configuration for the secret communication. So in our case, we are choosing secret as password, but you can change that. And after that, we are just enabling the service. Okay, so let's move again to the command line. And now it's time to install Solr. So let's go with this. Okay, now we have Solr installed with all the parameters and settings. And let's move to the installation of transport service. So the transport service, the first thing we need to do is to install some dependencies. So the transport service is using ImageMagick, LibreOffice, and the EXIF tool for some internal operations. So the first thing is to install all these dependencies on your Ubuntu server. And we have also this Alfresco PDF renderer that is a wrapper of PDFume that is created by Alfresco. So we download that is adapted by Alfresco. So we can download that from the Nexus repository, and we can also copy that to the user bin server. So after that, we just copy this Spring Boot application. We create this transform service configuration. And at this point, it's important to note that you can configure the path of your application. So by default, ImageMagick and Exit Tool and PDF Renderer are on the default path. But in this case, LibreOffice is in a different path. So we can create this configuration just for the transport service to find the required service. So with that, we can go back again to the scripts. and we can install the transform. So remember, first we are going to install all the dependencies, and then we are going to install the Spring Boot application itself. Okay, after this step, we have the transform service configure, prepare to be execute, and let's move to the AC application. So this is the Angular UI. This is not provided on Nexus or is another place with as static files. So what we need first is to build these static files to be deployed on Nginx or any other web server. So this task is not required to be executed on your server, but for just to be to have more easy, we are going to install Node and so on the server to build the static files, and then we are going to use these static files into the Nginx server. But you can remove this installation after creating the static files, or you can even create these static files on a different server on a different machine and then copy the static files to Nginx later. So let's do that on the on our Ubuntu server by now, but remember that you can do that in some other place if required. So with this step, we have we have the static website created on this folder. So this is what we need to deploy in Nginx. So let's install Nginx and let's configure this static website. And we are going to use also Nginx. So we are going to install Nginx. We are going to copy the Alfresco content application. We are going to create also the service to start and stop Nginx, and we are using this also for Alfresco and Solr. So we can just access to all these services by using the AT port. So after that, just starting stopping Nginx and enabling the service. So let's move into this folder. So on the scripts, is it the 9 one? No, it's the 10. So the 10 is installing Nginx. So remember, we are installing Nginx, copying the static website for ACA, and creating the reverse proxy for Alfresco and Solr web application. Okay, now that we have Nginx already configured, then we are going to move with the last step. And the last step is to start all the services that we were installing one by one, so we can get like the right starting order. So first we need to start Postgres, then ActiveMQ and Transform. These are like the base services for Alfresco and Solr. So once we have these services up and ready, we are going to start Tomcat, that includes Alfresco and Solr. We are going to install Solr, and finally we are going to install Nginx X, so we can access to all the services by using this proxy. So let's start then with this. So the first one is starting the Postgres service. So let's start PostgreSQL. Let's wait a bit. So now we have the database, then we can start the ActiveMQ that is used for the out of process services. The next one is to start the transform service. So again, we can use the service to start the transform. And after that, once we have all the base services for the Alfresco repository, we can start Tomcat. We can check the logs in this folder, this Tomcat logs Catalina .out, and we can just wait a bit for it. So we need just to wait till Alfresco is up and ready before moving on with the next steps. Okay, now that Tomcat is up and ready with Alfresco and Solr web applications just listening, we can start Solr to start with the indexing process and to be used as a searching engine. So with that, Solr will start indexing, and finally we can start Nginx, so we can access by using port 80 to all the different services we have. So mainly Alfresco, Solr, and ACA. So we have all the different steps applied, and I guess that everyone is up and ready. So just let's check if that is fine. Okay, everything is up and ready. So let's check if this is working as expected. Okay, so what we need to do is just to check that everything is working as expected. So let's start with the repository. So the Alfresco web application, we can see that we have the Alfresco web console, and we can just use the default credentials. So it's working fine. Then we can check the Alfresco content application UI. So let's use again default credentials. So we have access to the repository, and we have access also to the sites and so on. And finally, we can also check that Solr UI, Solr web application, is working. And also we are using this application to verify that searching is indexing and it's been used properly as search engine. We are going to search budget, and then we can access or create a new document to verify that the transport serving is working as expected. And this will create both the thumbnail for the document and also the PDF preview. So let's go with this. Let's check the Solr web application. So now we are going to verify that searching is working as expected. So we can use the term budget and just budget, thanks. And with that, we are just verifying the communication between Alfresco and Solr, and also we are verifying the communication between Solr and Alfresco because the index needs to be created. So the searching is working fine as expected. And if we access to, for instance, to this document, we can see the thumbnail is created. So this means that the transport service is working. But let's verify that it's also working for the PDF rendition. So this is the PDF rendition. So everything seems to be working as expected. So that was everything. I hope that was useful for you, and see you next time.